Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Now it is fair to say that I have become a big advocate for this form factor in lights. Olight for me, I think probably one of the first ones that I really got into with this kind of form factor, although maybe there might have been a few before with some other manufacturers, but I think the big mainstream kind of important ones that have bought out large products that have made more of an impact in the EDC world, Olight and the Arkfeld series. I like the original Arkfeld, the Pro, the Arc Flex kind of mix things up a little bit more. But they've just released the Arkfeld Ultra and yeah, the bump up is really nice. So as we usually do, let's turn the camera around and take a closer look. Now, quick unboxing. It feels like they've changed back to an old-fashioned look and feel to this. I'm sure, and I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong here, that the original Olights used to all come in this dark charcoal colour, and then they changed so that they came in the white boxes that we all know nowadays. So I quite like this. It makes it feel premium, which I think with the Arkfeld Ultra being the premium kind of model out of all of them, it certainly makes sense. But opening this up, on the inside you have the Arkfeld Ultra light itself. I'm just going to put that to one side. You also get one of these little kind of challenge coins, which I think is quite cool. On one side it says Olight, and then on the opposite side it's got that Arkfeld Ultra on there, and it says Pioneer in Style. Arkfeld Ultra made from aluminium. So this is one of the things that I guess we'll kind of mention, might as well say now. So on the back here, this is the aluminium, which is a proprietary aluminium that has been made by Olight. That if I'm right in saying, this is the first light that it's been used on, which is pretty cool. So the properties of it are a lot of other lights generally tend to be 6061 T6 aluminium, whereas this one it has a lot more kind of stronger properties, which brings it closer in similarity to something like titanium. Obviously it's still made from aluminium, but the properties are very nice. Certainly scratch resistance and abrasion resistance. And then on the inside here you get your normal USB charger and you get your instructions as well. So let's just put those to one side for a second. And unfortunately there seems to be a lot of flies around today, so if you see me doing a lot of wafting, then I do apologise, it's just because of all of these flies. Now, getting back to that charger, this works with the standard the standard magnetic charger that you tend to get with a lot of Olight lights. So if you have a few of them already, then you know what the deal is. But it's USB onto the charger, and this clips onto the end, and then you're charging. Whilst it's charging, it will work whilst charging. I've tried this with several other Olight chargers and they all just work perfectly. It fits onto the end. You don't have to make sure that you worry about adjusting it to make sure that it's right. It just fits on, it clicks on, and it works. Whilst it's charging, if it's low in battery, it will charge the light on the bottom. The clear through plastic here will be red, and then once it's full it will turn green. Whilst it's on, whilst that's put you on, you'll be able to see hopefully there that there are some light LED indicators there. So you got 4 from 100%, 75, 50 and 25%, so it does give you a readout on how much light there is in there. Now, back to the actual light itself, let's give you some of the headline numbers on this. As far as the length is concerned, from top to bottom it comes in at 120 millimeters. It is 27 millimeters wide and it is 16 millimeters deep. Now, I will say it does feel deceivingly thin, and what it reminds me of, and I think I mentioned this when I looked at the Arkfeld Pro, is that it reminds me of those original iPhones. They just had tapering as it came close to the corners here, which made it feel as though they were actually a little bit thinner than they were, but in the pocket it fits in your pocket really nicely. That's one of the things that I do like about this new kind of design, these flatter lights. is that these are far superior when it comes to EDC being able to carry these around all day. Now I did mention, so this does have this new aluminium within here, so when it comes down to the weight, including the battery that is in here, it comes in at 119 grams. Now the battery itself can't be removed. I'm guessing to remove the battery you'll need to remove the back clips. There's some screws here, but it does specifically say when you open this up that they do not recommend that you take the back off here. For whatever reason, I'm sure it'll probably do more down to that there is a seal in here, because this is milled from a single piece of aluminium, so they have to put everything into this in order for it to work. There will be a seal in here which, if you were to take this back off, probably would damage that seal, which would mean that the dust and water rating, you know, it wouldn't be safe to, or at least it wouldn't stick to the dust and water rating that it already has. Now as far as the dust and water rating is concerned, this comes in at IPX7, so X is for the dust. It means that they haven't tested for dust, they've just tested for water. Water ingression generally does more damage to a light like this anyway, and it is a 7, with 8 being the highest that you can get for consumer electronics, so it's still reasonably high, and it's still really nice. So if you're concerned about getting this wet, if you're concerned about this, you know, maybe you drop it into a puddle, it becomes submerged, you can take this out, you can dry it, and it should still continue to work exactly as it did before. Now, as far as the rest of the light is concerned, so we've had a look at the charger here. You do have a two-sided clip on here. This, as I mentioned though, this can't be removed, so you can pass this through here if you want to put it into your pocket, but also if you want to wear it on the brim of your hat, you can pass that through there so that it will face forward, so that you can use it as a, I suppose, a quasi kind of head torch. On the sides, it has this new knurling on the sides, which is nice. It has a nice tactile feel to it. I wouldn't call it a pretty aggressive knurling, but it's just enough there that you get a nice bit of friction. In fact, if I rub this against my nail here, hopefully you can hear that. So that's nice. It holds in the hand really well. The front, it's very plain, so the anodizing that you get with a lot of these kind of lights, it is a little slippy, let's just say that, but this one just feels a little bit more matte compared to the Arkfeld Pro, which again wasn't particularly slippery in the hand, but this one does feel as though you just get a little bit more purchase from your finger grips. Here and then it then says Arkfeld Pro, and there you have the LEDs here at the end. So you have your white light LED, you have your ultraviolet light or the UV light, and then here in the middle, this is the module for the laser that's on there. Now that kind of goes into the UI, which is a great segue onto the UI. The UI on this is very similar to the Pro. So the feature set on here, I really like this feature set. I think for EDC, it's a near perfect feature set for an EDC light. You have an ultraviolet light, you have your laser, and then you have your white light. To switch between them, you have this jog dial that you can turn on the bottom here, and as you turn this round, it then changes here at the top. So here on the UV, you turn. Well, actually, let's take a step back. As far as the UI is concerned, for all 3 of the modes, it is a simple press for on and a press for off. Whilst you're in the UV mode, there aren't any kind of special UV modes. It's simply on or off, and then you can find things in the dark if it's it glows up with UV. For the laser, it's again simple on, simple off with a click, and then you can see it. Now I did turn it off and then switched it, but you don't necessarily have to do that. If you leave it on and then switch it, it will just simply switch between the modes. The laser does have a second mode on this, so you've got click on, click off, but if you do a double press, it will turn on the white light. You might not be able to see it there, but the white light and the green laser are on at the same time. Press again, it will turn it off. Press it again just once and it will turn it back on to the green light mode. When you're on the normal white light mode, in fact, there are they're kind of the same sort of modes. So if you want to get instant access to the Moonlight mode, which is 1 lumen, you can do a long press whilst off and it will put it on to 1 lumen there. To change between all of the other light modes, you then do a long press to swap through them. So from Moonlight, long press will take me then on to low, which is 15 lumens, long press, medium, 100 lumens, long press, high, 420 lumens. Now if I do another long press, what it will do is it will cycle me back round to low. It doesn't, or at least Moonlight and Turbo are classed as special modes, so the only way to get your Moonlight again is to turn it off, do another long press, and it will put that back onto your Moonlight mode. If you want to get onto the Turbo on any of these, so let's put this back onto medium. If you do a double press, but actually, I got this wrong again. I got this wrong last time. So for some strange reason, the Arkfeld, and I don't know why they've done that with this, and it catches me out all the time, and I'm glad it caught me out there, because I'd been practicing with this all morning, making sure that I'd remember. For so long, the UI on Olights has always been double press will take you on to turbo. For some strange reason with this, you have to do a triple press to take you on to turbo. A double press will take you on to strobe. I tell you what, let's just pretend that I did that bit on purpose, so that I could play and just go, oh yeah, they've changed the UI. But it does catch you out. Now, as I mentioned, I've been playing with this all morning, I've been carrying this for the last few days. It's rare that I ever use turbo, in fact. Hardly ever. Apart from when your mate goes, how bright does it go, mate? And you go, well, this is the brightest you've ever seen. And you turn it on. It's rare that I use turbo. But it just, I don't know, double press should be turbo, and triple press, which, there you go, triple press should be turbo, but they've changed it ever so slightly on here. Yeah, there you go. That just proves that the Moorlander is fallible and often gets things ever so slightly wrong. But yes, it will throw you out at first. Once you've carried this for a while, you certainly get used to it. But with the amount of lights that I get to test, threw me out. Anyway, so there you go. So that's the UI. Everything is reasonably simple. If you're on any of these, it's a simple turn on, turn off. And then with the others, you can turn it on, do your long presses, and then that will cycle through all of your different modes that you've got on there as well. There is a lockout function on this, so if you're concerned about it turning on in your pocket, there's a lockout that you can do with it as well. And then there is also a timeout version as well, so if you want to leave this turned on and make sure that it turns off after a certain period of time, then you can set that with this as well, which I think is a nice feature for a light like this. Now, as far as lights are concerned, the proof's in the pudding. Let's have a look at how this works whilst in the dark. Fast forward a few hours, I thought rather than coming down to the lake, I'd come back down to the woods. Heidelberg is just off there. She's going off for a bit of a look around the woods with another flashlight. But we're here with the Arkfeld Ultra, and we'll go through the settings, starting on the Moonlight setting. Now, whilst it's turned off, you can do a long press, and it will go onto the Moonlight setting, which on this is just 1 lumen. Now, I mean, I can see the floor reasonably well here. I'm certainly not struggling. 1 lumen is fine. I can see maybe a meter or two ahead of me. Again, you know, it's perfectly fine. If I was in a pitch black room, this would be even better, because although there's not a lot of light pollution up in the air at this moment out in the woods, but there is still a little bit of light, but that is low. Oh, sorry, that is the Moonlight mode, which is 1 lumen. Now I can do a long press, which will then take me up to low, which is 15 lumens. So being able to see around here, you can see an awful lot more. You couldn't see those logs. You couldn't see those logs before. I just put on this stump a little mac in a sack, but that will make sense in a minute. 15 lumens is great. I can probably see 7 or 8 meters ahead of me. Walking in the dark like this, I know I talk about this a lot, but I generally find that the low settings are absolutely perfect. So from low, we can do another long press. This will then take me up to medium, which is 100 lumens. Now it's a big jump from 15 up to 100. So being able to see the amount of light that this floods out more, see Adelheid off in the distance there. So yeah, this does a really good job. Now, as I do, the thing with the Arkfelds is that these are designed to be EDC lights, and they're more of a floodlight than a spotlight. There is a warmer spot. Hopefully you can see there is a warmer spot, but it's quite a large area, and it's not particularly defined. So if I bring this back into the center, 45 degrees to the left and back, to the right and back, you can see it's there. If you look at the skirt again isn't particularly well defined, but again, it's not designed to be that kind of light with a really defined warm spot. So that's medium, 100 lumens. You can then do another long press, which will take you up to high, which is 420 lumens. Now, Heidi's just off now. We can't see Heidi anymore, but looking through the trees, this tree's probably about 10 meters, 12, 15. I can easily see a tree that's maybe 20, 25 meters away off in the distance. Being able to look up into the canopy with this light is great. Being able to look around, that's a tree. But yes, there you go, 420 lumens. Here is that Mac in a sack as well. Now, as we saw earlier, if I was to do a double press now, it would turn it onto the strobe mode. Or let's go back. If I do a triple press, 1, 2, 3. No, sorry, 1, 2, 3. Now we're on turbo, which is the 1400 lumens. And yeah, you know, this really does throw quite a bit of light out of here, and it's nice as well. Now there are some other functions on here. I'm just going to turn it off, move the jog dial into the middle, so we're now on the laser. Hopefully there you can see the laser against that tree. Let's find, there's another tree, and then we come back in a little bit closer, and you know, we can see this on the floor. I'm going to turn that off for a second, and then also we had the UV light. So now that Mac in a sack, hopefully you can see the amount of UV, how well this does at being able to find that in the dark. Are there any other white things around on the floor? Not really. Sometimes in the summer we can see some certain kind of mosses and stuff here on the end of the tree. Yeah, there you go, look at those. How cool are those? That's like a purpley colour with the bright reds that are in there. We've got one on this side. Yeah, we've got some on that side as well. It's awesome because you really wouldn't see that during the day. And there's that cack in a bag as well, or that Mac in a sack, sorry. So let's go through these again. So we've got moonlight, low, medium, and high. So there you go. Now, what I haven't touched on is two potential elephants in the room with this. The first being that there are now other manufacturers that are getting into this space where there are similar form factors and similar feature sets to these. We've now got quite a bit of choice out there. So for the consumer, this is great because there are a lot of options for you. So hopefully this will help you to decide if you're umming and ahhing between a few of them. What also may muddy the water ever so slightly, which I guess is the second elephant in the room, is the differences between the Arkfeld Ultra and the Arkfeld Pro. As far as the feature sets are concerned, the functions that you get with these, they're a very similar light. If you already have the Pro, should you upgrade to the Ultra? I don't know. There's nothing wrong with the Pro that would make me want to upgrade to this. The newer materials and the form factor and the slight changes to it are actually really nice. But I think the jump between the Pro to the Ultra is more of just a quality of life kind of thing. However, if you don't have the Pro and you're thinking of getting the Ultra, I think the Ultra is the step up if you're wanting to have something that's a little bit more finer, a little bit more refined. The proprietary aluminium that they've added to this, the form factor again, just a little bit more kind of, I don't know, it feels just a little bit better in the hand. I do like the weight of this. I haven't compared the two weights, but this one does feel just ever so slightly heavier, which I don't mind. I really don't mind something that's a little bit heavier in my pocket. Certainly doesn't bother me. But again, hopefully, having watched this now, if you are umming and ahhing and you're looking at the Pro or you're looking at the Ultra, this will help you to decide which one is hopefully best for you. I think there is a sale. I will double check this. There's generally always a sale with Olight. I'll leave some links below if I can find that there is a sale. If there isn't a sale, then I'll leave some links below, and I think there is a discount code, an exclusive discount code for me, which should be able to save you some money either way, but I'll leave some links below. I do want to say a huge thank you to Olight for sending this to me. As I do have with a lot of manufacturers, if I didn't like this light for any reason, you just simply wouldn't see this content. I have a great relationship with them. If there's something that I would change about this, then you know I would do, or at least I can illustrate that to you. So yes, a huge thank you to Olight for continuing to support my channel and continue to send these out to me. Really appreciate you guys. But yes, leave some links below. I'll leave some of my social media links here on Moorlander EDC and my sister channel Moorlander Tactical. And whether you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Arkfeld Ultra. I thought I'd got the name wrong there for a second. This charcoal kind of colour to them. So it's also really good if you're walking around at night trying to find crap that's on the floor. That UV light helps you to find rubbish that people have left whilst they're on your land. And then the green light will help you to hunt them down like the Terminator. What? Oh, he does that weird laugh, doesn't he? That's Terminator. No, it's not the Terminator. That's Predator. Damn it! I'm getting my 80s films mixed up. But anyway, I'm not sure when this is coming out. I think this might be coming out on a Wednesday. Happy Hump Day, folks. I hope you're all having a great humpity hump day, and I will see you soon. Well, actually, probably in a few days. I'll see you at the weekend. So, yeah, good. Peace.